Every Pats fan wants to know, who's calling the plays? Joe Judge or Matt Patricia? Who cares? You know what I care about? Pats Nation, let Bill Belichick figure out who's calling plays for Mac Jones. I care about something that's slipping right under the radar. The side of the football that all Pats fans were concerned about entering 2022 was not the offense. We actually thought, hey, we have some hope with this offense. Mac in year 2, a solid O-line, a good stable of backs, receivers that are going to be the second year in their system. Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers. Oh, they added Devontae Parker. Awesome. A red zone threat. Hunter Henry and Jonnu. I mean, Jonnu couldn't be worse. Right? Right. The side of the ball we were concerned about was the defense. That was the side of the ball Pats Nation was clamoring about. Who's going to play cornerback? Who's going to play cornerback? That's what we all wanted to know, right? Including myself. J.C. Jackson left. I only called him Just Cover Jackson because that's all he did. He's Mr. INT. He left. We miss the days of Gilmore, JC, and Jonathan Jones locking it down in man coverage. Just blitz the rest of the team. We're good. But now Bill Belichick has molded and shifted his defense to a new style. And this is why I love Bill Belichick. He does things before the rest of the NFL figures it out. And the point of this very video is that the New England Patriots defense will be the positionless Patriots defense in 2022. What does that mean, Mitch? I don't know what it means, but it's provocative. And the positionless Patriots defense will begin with the secondary. Let me explain it, okay? We start with the cornerback position. Jalen Mills is the number 1 corner, by the way, having a phenomenal training camp, and I felt like had a great year 1 with New England. But Jalen Mills was not expected to play perimeter corner for the Patriots coming in. We all expected him to play, maybe he's taking over Patrick Chung's spot. Strong safety, maybe a little bit of nickelback, but perimeter corner, is Bill nuts? Turns out he was pretty good at perimeter corner. Because we needed him to be. Because Stephon Gilmore got traded. Looks like he's going to be a pretty good number 1 for us. But the point is here, Jalen Mills can play perimeter corner. He can play strong safety. He can play in the box. He can play nickel corner. That's interesting. A corner that can play all of those spots effectively at a high level in the NFL. Okay, who's our number 2 corner? Our number 2 corner is set to be Jonathan Jones. A Jonathan Jones that is not far removed, actually 1 injury removed, from being one of the top 3, in my opinion, nickel corners in the NFL and the best man coverage nickel corner in the NFL. But he's playing perimeter corner. Why is he playing perimeter corner, Mitch? Why? Or maybe I should say, why is he playing perimeter corner, Bill? Why? So you think, why would Bill Belichick move his best asset in the secondary at corner to the perimeter? Jonathan Jones has been locking it down there for years. Well, the reason is because of Marcus Jones. Marcus Jones has been so flat out amazing in training camp that they had no choice but to put Jonathan Jones at a different position. Because if you're going to put anybody at perimeter corner, it's not going to be the rookie, the 5'8" jitterbug. It's going to be the vet who's got long speed, who can run vertically with fast receivers and not get burnt, and despite his size is savvy. That's Jonathan Jones. And maybe, just maybe, with Jonathan Jones coming off the injury, he serves better as a perimeter corner than a nickelback because maybe the injury is taken a little bit off of the agility from sideline to sideline, which Marcus Jones has at a very elite level. If you watched his college tape, Marcus Jones had tons of agility. And not only does Marcus Jones have agility and speed and athleticism and youth, but he also has physicality in a way that Jonathan Jones didn't have at nickelback. Jonathan Jones was in the nickelback because he could cover man-to-man, sideline to sideline, or vertical, and that's what was special about him in that role. Marcus Jones shifting to more of a zone defense for the Patriots, he can come downhill and tackle. He can blitz off the edge, and he can cover, and he has incredible burst on the football with great ball skills. And being in the middle of the field, you got to have great ball skills. You're around the ball all the time, and that helps your defense cause turnovers. So those three are going to be your number one, number two, number three. But I missed a point with Marcus Jones. One of the big parts about Marcus Jones' game at Houston, he played in the slot, in the nickel, but he also could play outside, and he did cover people outside. So essentially, you have three corners that could play nickel or could play outside, and you also have three corners that could play safety too. So that's interesting to me. And then you look at the safety spot where you've got two strong safeties or box safeties, Adrian Phillips and Kyle Duggar, two players that are similar but different. Kyle Duggar is a tight end eraser at times, but Adrian Phillips has actually outproduced him in that role and has been one of the best tight end erasers in the NFL. And Adrian Phillips has been a very good box safety, but who's outproduced him in that role? Kyle Duggar, because he's absolutely big and explosive. So you have two players that can play linebacker in dime packages, but could also play deep as coverage players, or could cover man-on-man versus top tight ends. Pop quiz. Where did Devin McCourty play in his rookie season? Perimeter corner. Played free safety the rest of his career, but has the versatility to cover receivers if they need him to. Then you have Gibral Peppers. If anybody watched Michigan Gibral Peppers, you knew that the guy didn't even have a position. He was positionless. The definition. Joshua Bledsoe is similar to Miles Bryant, two players that could play nickelback but could also play safety. So even with the depth, you go on and on and on and on. Miles Bryant, Joshua Bledsoe, Shaun Wade played nickel and perimeter corner. I mean, the list goes on here, guys. The secondary is just versatile as ever. And that is incredibly unique. There is no other team or secondary that is suited like this. And I'm very much intrigued because we don't really know how may this secondary perform in both zone and man. We all thought that due to the fact that JC left, they would be a heavy zone team. And while I do believe they'll play more zone than ever this year, I think when you look at their personnel, they still can play man at a pretty high level, especially given the fact that they have all these safeties that can really take away some of the tough matchups that other teams pose, like top tight ends, like maybe shifty slot receivers. If Marcus Jones is this sticky, if Jalen Mills is playing the best he's ever played, then you have Jack Jones, who is another rookie who's flashed in camp, who has high upside as a man coverage corner, and a guy that really is a ball hawk similar to J.C. Jackson. And we know Jonathan Jones can play man coverage against the fast receivers in the NFL like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Oh, they're on the Miami Dolphins. That's another thing. This division, Stephon Diggs, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, even Braxton Berrios, Stephon Diggs, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Are you guys noticing a trend here? It's speed, it's quickness, and it's not a lot of size. The Patriots' corners are smaller, but with smaller corners come quickness, come lateral ability. And Jalen Mills is the one guy that can really match up with the bigger receivers in the league. So when you do play a Mike Williams per se, you can match him up with that guy. I think that this secondary is going to unlock what they can do up front. And the secondary is not really what we thought the strength would be for this defense. The strength should be the front seven. Christian Barmore has been dominating camp day in and day out and looks like an absolute future all-pro. Like the next Chris Jones. That's how good he's looking in camp. I have not heard rave reviews from an interior defensive lineman like this since Vince Wilfork. Matt Judon with his red sleeves is one of the better pass rushers and hybrid edge players in the NFL. He does so much for this defense. It has to be double teamed. Teams found that out last year. When we look at the opposite edge, a couple interesting things are happening. We knew Josh Uche maybe could be that pass rusher in rotation, which it appears he might be. Third down pass rush package, put Josh Uche out there, he can get to the quarterback. We know that. But he's not exactly the best against the run, so they needed to find somebody on early downs. Could it be Dietrich Wise? Yeah, maybe. But we know that Wise is also pretty good in the inside. Who's this Anthony Jennings? I thought he was going to be cut. But all of a sudden, Anthony Jennings has been having a phenomenal camp and looking like the guy we thought he could be coming out of Alabama, filling in the Kyle Van Noy role, and has popped off the screen a couple times in preseason action. Not only Anthony Jennings, but then also you talk about what you could get in Jawan Bentley playing the edge position, where he's played a few snaps there in preseason action, not only at middle linebacker, but also on the edge where he's well suited because of his physicality and his ability against the run. So that allows some hybrid versatility up front with Bentley, Jennings, Uche all having the ability to seamlessly play edge or be able to drop back into coverage. Even Judon has that ability. And then in the interior, Barmore's disrupting, Wise is disrupting. We've seen Devon Godshaw, who got paid, has been having a great camp and has been a beast of a nose tackle. I think he could have a big year. We know what Lawrence Guy can do. This front could be very dynamic, and I'm probably still missing players that I feel have had good games, like even the young guys, like Roberts has been having a heck of a preseason out there, and Carl Davis can do his thing as a run defender. Like, the Patriots defense, I thought they were going to stink like early in the offseason. I am shocked, utterly shocked with how much progress I've seen and how excited I am to watch this defense in 2022. I think they could be really, really fun and really, really good and be the reason why the Patriots are still flirting with playoff action in 2022. Maybe the offense doesn't take the jump we expect them to. But with a defense that could be just as good as last year or even better, we're talking about a team that may surprise some people. Look out for the positionless Patriots defense.